On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, honestly, not too much. Should be a nice, slim, high-speed episode for you. But there is a little bit of news, and we will be doing a pregame for the upcoming White Day event, 15 Bespectacled Intellectuals, or however we choose to translate that into English. Anyway, hi. I'm one of your hosts, Space Sergeant Omega. With me, as always, Sentry Master Lucky.
I really do like my sentries. But I hope everyone's enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka a cooldown period. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN version of the game, so anyone not want to spoil it should memorize the reinforced stratagem.
Yes, also, last week on Let's Talk FGO, Lucky and I were bemoaning not having Helldivers 2, and would it be in the budget? This is the episode of Let's Talk FGO where that weekend we both got Helldivers 2 and have been playing it for about a week. So expect more Helldivers 2 memes, such as us not recommending you to buy Helldivers 2 because we don't want you to jam with the servers. That's not actually true. I think they've actually finally raised the cap to like 750,000. We still may hit the cap during peak hours because so many people want to play this game, but, you know, it should be better. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you this episode is brought to you by our lovely patrons like Abd Hart, Black G, Call Me Zed, Carlos Dragon, Flightly High Spirit, Jeremy Vasquez, JDV9000, Justin Fay, Jonathan Cinema, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Trevor, Sean Pirate, Some Guy Named Bob, and Varian the Crow. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. Get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies. And it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, thanking. And as always, we are coming up towards the kind of the endish of a month. You know, there's less than a week left in February. So, you know, keep your eye out if you want to up all those rewards. Get in there. But we will keep on keeping on with our various buttons and things. First, let's check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mash.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Because I actually have a very simple Wake the Fuck Up Senpai Regular Senpai Pro Tips this week. Which is just something I caught while checking the news items, but there was an important alert, so this goes in pro tips. But FGO NA is officially updating their iOS compatibility. It is now going to be 12 and up. Formerly it was 11 and up. So this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stop working if you're still on iOS 11 and haven't or can't upgrade. Just that FGO basically swears off responsibility for the app functioning at those earlier versions. And it is probably a good idea to update because I do believe eventually it will just stop working. But, you know, keep this in mind. Technology keeps on moving on. Delicious keep on. But yeah, that scooches us right along from pro tips to records from the throne, our regular achievement topic. I was just going to say records, but then I was like, wait, it has a full name.
It's just me this week. Haven't been doing much. Have been keeping on with the game, though. Been hitting them Ember Mines while we have the Happy Peas. And with all this so much extra embers, I decided to grow Vargas to 100 because that's what she deserves.
Yep. Mine's not 100 yet, but I'll probably do that. I've just been maintaining my daily login to get my login rewards and keep up. But there's, as we said, there's a lot of other things happening right now. You know, obviously, like I said, if you're here for just FGO, should be a pretty slim, lean, fast show for you. We'll hit all the highlights. But if you want to stick around for the What's Up half after the free talk and the mailbag, there's lots of video game things happening to talk about as usual. So very busy. But that's our records. No evils. We've just been logging in, doing stuff. I did cross like one of my 50-day milestones. So we're slowly getting that scene quartz back in the tank.
All right, be right back.
Like, he'll be right back. He's probably picking up his pizza. Because he ordered a pizza. But while he's doing that, real quick, I can did you finish your master missions? And it's pretty simple this week. You're going to need to defeat 3 lawful and then 3 chaotic servants, defeat 15 enemies who have the humanoid trait, defeat 15 enemies who have the beast trait. Could be 5 quests, could be 10 quests. I would say do the event, but there's no event right now. It's just, access dailies and doing ribbly-doos of Seraph if you did not previously have access to that main interlude. That said, if you want to clean this up real fast, I believe that doing Fuyuki should get you all of the humanoid and the servants you need, and I think it's Jura Forest is the lowest AP node for beasts. That should be wolves or werewolves in Orleans. I'm sure the patron chat will double-check me if I am wrong. But yeah, it should be pretty easy to clear all those.
I am back. La pizza!
Indeedy, as predicted. But yes, I just did master missions. Should be pretty straightforward. And obviously, if you are using the benefits of open dailies and other effects, you can also probably capture these in some daily quests for servants and specific trait enemies. Just not guaranteed. But that means we can slip and slide on over to Skelograms today. Because the news is just for NA. JP is still, got, I think, probably a little over a week to go in Valentine, so it's progressing apace. Getting all your scenes, getting all your points, rotating through those banners. I have in general heard, just the general vibes is that the event story is good. Thumbs up. Bringing some positive waves. So that's always good to see that stuff and keep on keeping on. So the NA news, we got a couple of ones here. First off, the Abyssal Cyber Paradise Seraph BB summon from the 19th to the 28th. This is a Summer BB and Emiya Altar banner. I believe in JP, this banner was a little farther down the line and was related to the BB Grailfront. It's not obviously the banner for the BB Grailfront, but I think was released around that time. So this does mean that we may be pushing the BB Grailfront to the BB themed Grailfront to after anniversary. Don't know for sure. They may just be moving stuff around and decide to fire banners rapid fire while we've got them. This is obviously the time when Seraph is coming back. There was a surprise the Melt and KP banners we talked about last week that came around, stuff like that. So we're just keeping on the themes, y'all, and firing off with those banners. There's not really anything else going on there. It's just, another new banner. Keep you alive before the other banners, of which there will be many.
Many.
The other thing is the You've Lost Ritsuka Fujimaru Final Episode Celebration Craft Essence. The campaign is running from the 20th until the 28th. Also, just log in anywhere during this time period for commemorative CE to commemorate that they've finished the first season. I believe, they've finished it in both Japanese and with English subs. So keep your eyes peeled for all that fun stuff. Great little series. Lots of, running
jokes.
gags and also new jokes. Wonderful little animation style. And definitely, made with love. So we got a little CE theme to the art style for you to pick up to go with that. And at 8.5 minutes...
Jesus.
That's it. That's the news, kids. I told you, the news is fast. It's just... We are in full holding pattern for about a week until White Day fires.
Yeah, this is why we bolted what's up to the back of this. Jesus.
Yeah, basically. As especially now that we're edging ever closer to FGO NA doing the 3-week cycle for events, where other than announcing what the next event is, the third week will be very low on news. Maybe some extra banners tossed in here and there, but usually it's much lighter. So yeah, just combining this with What's Up gives us more time to talk. That gives us more views, more ad rev, and also gives you guys beefier shows because...
Beefy.
Generally, again, feel free to leave comments and correct us, hop on our Discord, but generally, you guys, the audience, have said that you like longer shows. You like more content to play while you're grinding, while you're defending Super Earth, while you're commuting, while you're stuck at work, thinking about defending Super Earth, etc., etc. So yeah, that's why we do them that way. But yeah, no, this is all high speed. I'm gonna guess based on the fact that our two latest things cut off at the 28th, we may technically see White Day start like the 29th, but it also could be the Friday the 1st. But it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be right away in March. Hence why we are doing the pregame later today. But yeah, that's news.
All right, but with that, let's move on over to this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week, we only have 5. I'm sorry, Lucky was fighting for democracy, liberty, and Super Earth. So some things may have slipped in my mind. Also, I've been playing demos. We got some good demos out right now. How fucking dare?
Yep, that's the thing we'll come back to later.
We will.
But yes, so it was a little late, but still got 5. That's very solid.
Mm-hmm. So the first one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado, who says, "Dear Luck and Omega, no question this week, just sending good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. And wishing you good health. Keep up the great work. Same to you. Thank you very much." Moving on. This next one comes from Thinking About the Moon. Question. We often talk about who is your FGO waifu, but I'm curious, who is your FGO husbando? Lucky likes to gush over Kentucky. He's my bestest boy. I do like my fluffy boa stereos too.
Yeah, Kentucky's pretty cool. There's a lot of guys I'm pretty solid with. The team. There is a. I mean, it's a tier list, so it's all a joke. But there is a category in my infamous tier list meme, which is if I was a chick, which is a reference to Parks and Rec. And there's a few of our cool guys on there. But yeah, if you want to ask me like what male servant I use the most, what guy I trust to have my back, it's usually Arash or probably the classic variation of a Kentucky is the one I'm using most. Either Wright or Kentucky carried me through a lot of stuff, and now my Berserker Kentucky is one of my single target bruisers. And of course, that we have many friendos.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call him a husband, but Blackbeard is my bro. I think he's the only guy I have at Bond 10 right now.
Hey, for me, there's Arash and also Berserker Lancelot, but that's a very what would we say? Leaden relationship. It's like talking to a brick wall made of metal.
Though, if things keep going on, I probably hit Berserker Vlad Bond 10 here in the upcoming week. Like I use him for my extreme ember.
Sorry, I pulled up my last FGO tier list meme, and the at the very bottom is the nope category. It's just Columbus, Stheno, Orton X Mash specifically. Ashidon. I crack me up sometimes.
Right, but thank you very much for that. Moving on. The next one comes from the Tyrant King, who really needs to hold back on spending money on really expensive Weiss Schwartz cards.
Self-control is important.
It is. But they say, question, hey guys, with Naruto getting a live-action adaptation, which anime do you think Hollywood would attempt to make into a live-action movie/series? Also, if Nasu/Type Moon was willing to do one of the Fate series, do you think will be the easiest to adapt to live-action? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way, and hope you have a nice evening.
I mean, the funny one is to complete the triangle and say Bleach, but like even more so because we don't know much about the Naruto movie right now. It is announced that it has been greenlit, and they have a director picked out. Apparently, Kishimoto, the author of Naruto, has approved of the director, so that could be a more positive sign. That seemed to work out for One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what it's covering. But assuming it is fairly early in the series, you don't need that much budget on special effects. If I were to say Bleach, you would probably need some special effects. There's ghosts and shit.
Probably, but you can do it. Like there is a live action Bleach over in Japan.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it wouldn't be a day in my bingo card if I didn't mention the Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. They had an extended episode gag where they just got in the weeds talking about what the weird Netflix/Hollywood adaptation of JoJo would be like. It would be their joke is to be part 3, but they would like westernize half the cast for no reason and change everything up. I'm gonna be honest. If they were gonna do JoJo, I think it would be part 3, just because that is the part that everybody knows. That would be pretty crazy. I hope they don't try to ever do it, or if they do, they need to find the weirdest fucking director. Get David Lynch to direct live action Hollywood JoJo. Like, I need to like feel like I'm having a disassociative episode in the theater. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Japan has live-action adaptations of most of the properties we would think to mention. There's live-action JoJo movies in Japan. There were live-action Death Note movies way before Netflix Death Note. I think in the Japanese Death Note live-actions are also thought of as pretty good. But there's some stuff. What else? I mean, what's super popular right now? Chainsaw Man, I guess?
Nah, they wouldn't be able to do it.
No, I don't think
proper.
so. No.
It would look jank as fuck.
Yeah, like
Demon Slayer is another one that's pretty big, but that one could be all right. Like I said, that one doesn't actually. All the visual effects is usually in the techniques, which could be okay. But again, it'd be something set in fucking Taisho Japan. They wouldn't.
Yeah, that's the thing where like I wouldn't trust Hollywood with that just because the setting is historical Japan. If Japan wants to make a live action Demon Slayer, if they haven't already. I haven't heard anything about that. But if they haven't, that would work because much like the live action Rurouni Kenshins, because you're just like doing stuff. It's historical. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. There is already, funnily enough, there was a semi-official approved live action Gundam, which was bad. It was made in Canada. Hollywood. I mean, hopefully most people here have seen Pacific Rim. I think the tech exists to make a Gundam type movie now. The question is just would would America at large correctly do the themes of Gundam, or would it be Wow Cool Robot?
Nah, it'd be Wow Cool Robot. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
It's like fucking like it's why I can't see in the Ghost in the Shell movie. It's just, yo, check out this cool technology.
Yeah, I literally. No offense to Scarlett Johansson, I've seen Johansson in some good stuff, but like, she's not the major. That's not how it works.
No.
Yes, I understand that you can't greenlight Hollywood films without super well known American actors. That means don't greenlight that fucking film. Film nerds already know about Ghost in the Shell, and not to gatekeep, but I do not necessarily need normies to know about Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is a series that's like hard on your brain.
I know it's not an anime, but do you know what I would like? Actually, think I would like to see Hollywood take a crack at, Like a Dragon.
Now that would be interesting. Yeah, that is something I think that could work. And you could probably do like location duplicate shooting. For areas in a lot of places. Hell, the Kamurocho is so immensely detailed and so tightly packed. You could probably do some of that on backlot sets. TBH.
Probably.
So like that would totally work, and I assuming you again cast enough Japanese people in it, or other East Asian cultures. There are it's set in Japan, so there are Chinese, Korean people in there. It's too new, but if you wanted to do Infinite Wealth, that's right there in Hawaii. You could get that maximum crossover.
I would say Judgment, but Judgment actually uses an actual Japanese actor as the voice and body footage. So I'm not sure how that would turn out.
Yeah, that would be probably too weird to see anybody who's not the guy who is, Mr. Judgment himself. It would just be so weird. And I mean, that happens with a lot of Yakuza characters are practically ink-suit actors, but they have reused a couple of people. And again, depending on which plot you used, you could, get away with a lot. And also, you could recast some of those people. Fucking Danny Trejo's in Infinite Wealth. But yeah, that's another fun series. Like, if we wanted to jump into games, I think there are actually some of those action games that would get in there. I mean, they made like 4 Starship Troopers movies. Nobody remembers most of them. We could do Helldivers 2, the movie.
Helldivers the movie would be good, but if we're gonna go on definitely games, I also want to slide in Cyberpunk. Not like not an adaptation of the game, but just another fucking story in said universe, like Edge Runners was.
They've got like 100 years of setting they could work with. Did they ever talk about wanting to do a live action project? I don't remember. That may have been on the slate at one point. But yeah, no. The Cyberpunk setting would condone itself to a single movie. I am actually pretty sure. Yes, I think that is. It's definitely the big bugs. I think Neil Patrick Harris was in the original Starship Troopers as well.
Yes, he was.
Okay. Like I said, there were several sequels. I cannot remember those at all. But yeah, there's sorry, some people are posting in our games channel the names of their boats. Somebody had Judge of Judgment. Actually, Super Destroyer name. If you were curious, chat, mine is Sword of Audacity.
Mine is Queen of the Stars.
Yep, pretty normal one. Our buddy Loth is what did he end up with? I think he's typing it right now. It's something like democratically elected representative of family values, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. There are some truly ludicrous ones in there. And also some normal ones like, Hammer, Guardian, Victory, etc. We're having a fun time. But yeah, hey, let us know other animes or video games you'd like to see them take a crack at live action or that you think they could pull off. Not all of them are bad, though I do believe, to change it a little bit, reviews on the new Netflix Avatar are not doing well. Ooh, yeah, it's gone down since I saw it last, but the Avatar reviews I'm seeing on Metacritic is 56.
Oof.
Most of them are in the yellow zone, and there's a notable number of red ones, and there's still some greens, but yeah, it's wild. Compare that, by the way, to since it's on the front page. Reviews for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are in. Currently, the Metacritic score has settled on 92. I believe it was as high as 93 or 94 earlier, but all of them are green. We can't decide if it's the greatest video game ever, but the general vibes, game is good. So yeah, there's some differences there. So not all, not all of them are ideal, but there's a few fun ones in there. So let us know what your thoughts. This also had a part 2 asking like which Fate would be easiest to adapt to live action. Probably none of them, because the visuals are very specific. I don't know how easily like the effects that everybody knows would be replicable, but it would probably be something a little lower impact, like I mean, there's some iconic visuals obviously in Witch of the Holy Night, but that is generally a little tighter cast. You could probably pull off most parts of Kara no Kyokai with just choreography and some stunt work.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. Yeah, case files gets a little wild sometimes, but there are parts of it that would work. You could probably do like one case file, but like anytime you would need Heracles to appear, he's not gonna look right unless you went with like a CGI budget, and that also probably wouldn't look right. Like if you look how Herc normally looks, right? It's not just like for instance, Emiya's like a perfectly normal actor, and then Herc is The Rock. It's like Emiya's like a normal actor, and then Herc is a fucking 12-foot monstrosity. He's not a human man who exists,
Doesn't quite work now.
Yeah, I don't think you could pull off like the original Fate Stay Night in live action without some serious like artistic changes, and I don't know if that would work well because the series is so like, because it started as a visual novel, it's so represented by like the character looks, the action CGs and stuff. So probably some of the smaller, look more. So I was thinking, I say prototypey, but like prologue-y type stuff, like Kara no Kyokai, I think you could pull off.
I think that's enough on that. So let's move on. Thank you very much for that, though. This next one comes from Jester LaFay, formerly Too Legit to Quit. They say, it's been a while, Lucky and Omega. No question this week. Just hope you guys are keep doing what you're doing and staying safe. Cheers, bro. Cheers right back, my dude.
Yeah.
And at the bottom here, the last but definitely not the least, it is Agent 418 saying, hello, Lucky and Omega. Have a good weekend, y'all. Same to you, my dude. Same to you. And that's right. I just throw the fucking papers behind me. It's like, that's it.
I could actually find some papers to throw around, but I don't know how they'd come on the microphone. You'll just have to use theater of the mind, chat. But yeah, that's the mailbag. Thank you very much for your submissions. As always, keep your eye on the channel, and I think if you have notifications turned on, if you have the bell rung, you'll see post alerts, because that's gives you if you've got it set to all, that'll let you know whenever we do anything. So fire it up sometime. Click the bell. Be involved. But that means that we can safely move on to Chaldea Free Talkus at 26 minutes and a half. It's okay. We have lots of video game stuff to yell about later. So let's talk about White Day. It will be brief, but there are a few things to be aware of. It's very straightforward. It's a time-gated event, and there are no other real mechanics other than do free quests, get drops. When new story comes out, clear new story. That's really it. Very simple. Very straightforward. They do warn you, or at least on the Japan side, they warned you. I don't know exactly how they'll phrase this in English because they haven't announced it formally yet, but we know it's coming. But to access White Day, the 15 bespectacled intellectuals, you only have to clear Fuyuki, but it does straight up say there will likely be spoilers up to LB4 or 5. Basically, I believe the way JP phrased this is, will definitely contain spoilers up through LB4. It is recommended you complete at least LB5, I think part 2, to, be safe. Since Arjuna Alter is, one of the main characters, that is pretty obvious where the LB4 connections come in. Now, this is going to be an event that is going to be somewhat similar to the Idol event we had last year, where we're going to get, loads and loads of costumes, and you're going to get, permission to unlock them later. So you're unlocking them in waves by clearing main story. Every main story chapter unlocks like 3 or 4 costumes. So there is your incentive to actually keep up on the story event, so you can keep unlocking costumes. The story is going to be 7 acts, plus an opening and epilogue. That's going to net you 8 Saint Quartz and a Grail, and also 14 costume exchange tickets, Idol style. So just like the, Worlds Collab, the Idol event, you will get these exchange tickets. When you go to dressmaking, you can spend the tickets instead of spending materials to unlock the costume. You still have to buy the costume permits after making them available by clearing main story in the event shop, but we'll talk about that later. So, plenty of that. No free CE because you're getting a free CE from just logging in. So the MSQs are pretty odd here. Like I said, there's, 7 acts, opening and epilogue. Opening and epilogue don't really have any battles, so there's 7 primary acts to keep pass of. For the first 3 of these, you're going to fight enemies who are labeled as invisible. They use Soul Eater models, so keep that in mind, but they're berserkers. Almost all of them are going to have guts, that is forever guts, and the fight will end when you actually proc their guts. In some cases, you will actually have to, when you proc their guts, they will retreat, so you have to make all of them retreat to make it work. But in general, there's a lot of, mystery and mysteriousness to it. Enemies who are invisible, unseen. Perhaps if you weren't wearing the special 3D glasses. This is where we all put on our, chromatic 3D glasses. So, it takes all the way until Act 4 before you have an actual fight that you actually need to, go all the way through. There's going to be an assassin boss, Giant Ghost. They're going to have 85k and 115k. I almost said 111.5. No, that's too many. 115k HP. And when you break their bar, they're going to fire a lot of self-buffs on themselves, so watch out for that. Otherwise, it is just a Giant Ghost. Act 5 is that part where you have the guts that, respect themselves kind of a thing. So, you got to do a few fights. But Act 7 is the finale, and this one actually involves several kind of complicated fights. So, this one's actually 4 pips. All the others are mostly 1 or 2 pips. And when you're doing these fights in Act 7, you're going to have a fixed front line, but you can include at least 2 of your own servants in the back. So, your front line will be the story supports, but you can include a couple of your own, as insurance. You're going to fight even more Berserker enemies. But generally, the usual way this works is there's going to be one enemy you have to actually kill. They will be marked. They will actually be given target focus. It's just you have to deal with, multiple adds to punch up all your enemies. So keep all that in mind. Also, if I'm understanding this correctly, you will have dialogue choices between fights that will switch up what fight you get exactly. The mechanics are mostly the same, just in some cases, you might get an enemy who has more, defensive buffs, they have increased defense, health per turn, etc. Or if you take a second choice, you'll get enemies who have more offensive type buffs, they're going to have attack up and crit up. And they will also change which support units you're using on your front line, because there are 15 main story support characters. Again, this is a little hard to parse, because there's a lot of options out there crammed into this last bit, but generally it should be pretty simple. You're going to have story supports who will have damage bonus with you, and all of the guys you need to actually kill are all around 300k HP. Just pay attention to your dialogue and pick some hardy servants on that backline. Now, the actual final boss at the end of Act 7 is a new, unique assassin enemy. They have 123k and 190k HP, 2 break bars. In their first phase, they're going to have a fuck ton of buffs, but you remove these buffs by beating them up. Every time you hit them, it removes one of their buffs from the stack until it removes the last one. Their final buff is a 20k heal per turn, so you're going to want to chip in there. But, you chew through buffs as you attack them with basic attacks. Now, when you break its bar, the enemy will fully charge its NP and get an on-NP debuff, which is randomly when it uses its NP, it will apply a debuff which can cause the targeted enemy to be stunned. It can remove critical stars, or it gets evasion for 1 turn. So watch out for those. Also, its NP is a single target which pierces defense and has a chance to insta-kill and applies poison. So watch out for that. If that actually fires, that will be nasty. And again, if you have, buffs like NP seal and stuff, you can plan it out for when you break the bar. But that is your big chungus at the end, so watch out for that. It is a very large chungus. And like I said, should be a unique enemy model, so that'll be cute to see. Free quests are going to be remarkably simpler. They're all monoclass. They have generally lower HP. Our, 90 plus or 90 plus plus type node this time is 212, and all Lancers. So that's pretty wild, but the enemies are going to be just sub 200k HP. So they're not going to be hardy. It's just going to be, you're going to have to figure out how to, efficiently work through 212. There is a caster node, 1 level below, which is 333. This node drops stakes, so that's where I will be living. But it has all the same currency. It drops all 3 types of currency. It just drops presumably less of them. But it's 333, and like I said, it's all casters, so that should be fairly easy to farm in this context. But if you want to get your, maximum drop levels, wait until the very end of event and get that Lancer node with the 2 and the 1 and the 2. Gotta keep that in mind. To aid you in all this, you have a variety of bonus servants. This is a very large bonus servant list, so bear with me as I list it all out, because there will be a lot. At your higher level damage bonus, things are pretty straightforward. Saito Hajime, Nobukatsu, Nemo, Arjuna Altar, and Ku Altar are all plus 100% damage and plus 50% bond. Pretty normal stuff. Also, giving Arjuna Altar plus 100% damage bonus, bold choice. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. So keep all that in mind. Gawain, Enkidu, Karna, Merlin, Paracelsus, Sanson, Mordred, and Medusa are all plus 50% damage and plus 30% bond, except the two ladies. So Mordred and Medusa do not get the 30% bond bonus. And 30% damage bonus is awarded to an astonishing amount of servants. Basically, any servant who has eyewear in any form gets this bonus. I will list you the examples. I do want to say that on the wiki, in some cases, it only shows these servants in a costume. I do not know if it only applies to their costumed form or if it applies to all the time, but please keep that in mind when selecting these servants. So, your 30% damage bonus servant list is Sigurd, Siegfried, Prince Lanling, Emmia, William Tell, Achilles, Summer Canis, and yes, specifically Summer Canis because of the sunglasses, Kentoki, that's both Kentokis, Waver, Chengong, Hans, Old Man Lee, Dr. Jekyll, Phantom of the Opera, Amakusa, Dantes, Voyager, Summer Hokusai, Summer Maeve, Summer Jean, both Seishonagons, Summer Helena, both Osakame Hime, Santa Nightingale specifically, because that's the one with glasses, both Paisens, Summer Melt, Summer Carmilla, both Lady Murasakis. For Da Vinci, it's only Big Castor and Summer. I guess Small Da Vinci does not wear glasses at any point. Koyans of Light and Darkness, that's a fun time. MHXA and Mixa, M-I-X-A. Summerbryn, Penth, Ginako, BB, just regular BB, Jacques Stamole, and Mash. So all those guys get 30% damage. And all male and gender ambiguous servants get plus 20% bond during this event. So, anybody who is genderless, unknown gender, or the other thing. Any of the variables there. So yes, that is a lot of servants with some decently high damage bonuses, especially for an event where I said, none of the free quest guys go, above 200k-ish HP. I think most of them are, technically sub. They're, 199 or something. So no matter what servants you've got, if you're able to get in there, you should have something to do. And also during this event, bonus servants with the eyeglasses costume will be available as basically story support servants. This is a thing they start doing more often. I don't know if it will be outside of the free quests in the event, and it will be in stuff like dailies as well, but there will be a rotation schedule. I'm sure when they actually announce it, they will clarify where it is. This is a thing they start doing more and more, where they will give you access to timely bonus servants, even when you're doing quests that are not story-related, so that should be pretty fun. So keep all that in mind. So, what do all these bonuses get you? Obviously, these are not currency bonuses, it's just bonded damage, but it makes farming go by. So there is some stuff in the shop. All of your costume permits go in the shop. They are 100 currency each for each costume, but they're all 3 types. So you are going to want to do some farming if you want to actually unlock all the costumes. And remember, you want to get all the permits out because those will be very slow to return, whereas, unlocking the costumes can wait because you've got those tickets. You will also see your usual bevy of foes, EXPs, and code unlockers like usual. You're looking for mats in the store at stuff like octuplet crystals, void dust, hero proofs, stingers, pages, scarabs, hearts, oil lamps, and gears, plus Archer Rider Assassin statues of both types, and a white ring command code to go with your gold buddy ring, and also a crystallized lore. Only one crystallized lore in shop. The event's pretty slimline. There is also a challenge quest that requires you to clear Solomon to get at, so keep that in mind if you want to farm those extra crystallized lores, but we're slimming down a little. This is also a White Day event, aka a Chaldea Boys Collection type event, so there are 9 new CEs, one of which you can exchange with a special ticket gain at the start. They will also be on the banners. Each CE increases currency drops of the appropriate level, so the 5-star is the gold currency, the 4-star is the silver, etc. Also, these have voiced scenes with them. I believe we did that starting last year for White Day, unless I'm taking crazy pills, but just as a reminder, the CEs are voiced scenes, so you will, get a voice scene when you play them out for the first time, and you can re-listen. Your primary summon banner is going to be Arjuna Alter and Saito Hajime, but expect rate-ups from many other dudes, basically all of the permanent or story-locked ones. So, the primary is going to be the limited Arjuna Alter banner. That'll have CEs and Saito on it as well. But also, we once again have that lovely little weekend-only Merlin banner towards the end there. So keep your eyes out for that if you still don't have a Memelin and you would like to do memes. And Merlin's summer costume should be added to Da Vinci's shop from this. And that's about it. So go ahead and get out your glasses, put them on, get your vision correct. So it should be pretty straightforward to actually fire the event. Just, keep your eyes out for some of those main quests. And unfortunately, you will probably have to do a little bit of currency grinding. I don't know how crazy the drops get, but, at 100 currency a pop for each costume permit, if you want to unlock everything, you will need to actually put in some time. Luckily, you should have 2 weeks for this. Just saying. And that is that. Chat is telling me that this is the last event that will require just a Fuyu clear for a little bit. So make sure to advance that story.
I was just being quiet.
Okay, I was just double checking. I heard you turn it off and then on again, so I thought it was good, but sometimes I lose count. Okay. Well, while we're still in Chaldea Free Talk, that means that it is time to also do Fanservant Friday, because this is technically the last show of the month, because February is still weird. So let me see in the appropriate area. So if you don't know, this is one of the things our $5 or higher level patrons, all those levels, can vote on. And I'm kind of in a process of just trying to trim down the list so I can then take some time to chew through some new ideas, because I got a few new profiles hanging around. But I don't want to, keep inflating the list when I've got several more to cut through. So we do this every month. You can vote in the poll. And the ones that you voted on this week is going to be Archer, Doc Holliday, a.k.a. John Henry Holliday. Well, actually, the Doc Holliday is the a.k.a., but most people know Doc Holliday. A Wild West gunfighter. Holliday's a very popular character to talk about because he was originally a dentist. He was not like a lawman by trade. He was, like I said, a dentist. In fact, he got a degree in dentistry from the Pennsylvania College of Dental Surgery. But he also had tuberculosis, TB, which was very lethal back in those days. So he moved to the American Southwest in hope that the climate would be refreshing for him. But yeah, he just kind of minded his own business until he was deputized by Wyatt Earp and was part of several famous incidents, especially the Showdown of the OK Corral, the classic. Also, I just want to point out just how fucking, wild West Doc Holliday's life was. His famous longtime enemy, who, was later found dead and ruled a suicide, but possibly not. His name was Johnny Ringo. That's right. Doc Holliday was rivals with Johnny Ringo. It's crazy. But, unfortunately, he died of tuberculosis eventually.
Eventually.
He really tried to fight it for a while. He, visited hot springs and stuff, but it didn't seem to have done him any good. And it finally got him. You out there will probably know Doc Holliday for the famous quote, "I'm your Huckleberry." This was said by Val Kilmer portraying Doc Holliday during the famous movie Tombstone. So, that's another one in there. I don't actually know if there's, any connection that he actually said that, but it's a really good read in the movie when, a man's out here, I think it was Johnny Ringo, talking about, whatchamacallit, challenging to fights, and at some point he says, "I'm your Huckleberry." It's a very good line read. I'll bring it back in. Okay, we're firing up. Do a little stop there. Okay, Doc Holliday. So, gave you the cliff notes of the story. As a servant, Archer, technically should be Gunnar, but we haven't actually used that, ever, so it's Archer. It's one of those things where, Nasu came with an edge case, 20 years ago, and then we've never actually used it. So Doc Holliday went for chaotic neutral. He's just a guy, Gambling man, known to get into a few fights. But strength, D. Endurance, E. He's a fairly modern person. I forgot to mention birth and death dates earlier, so to let everybody know. Born 1851, died 1887, so age 36, lasted a while for tuberculosis. But yes, agility B, archers are speed, magic E, luck A, and B, C+. Fairly normal stuff. Some of the physical stats are a little reduced for reasons we'll get into later. Regular class skills, independent action B, writing C. So, again, pretty typical stuff for archers, and I feel like independent action's a fairly good read for a gunfighter like Holliday. Personal skills. Quick draw, A. Shooting techniques, drawing fast. Pretty normal stuff. You draw guns fast, and Holliday was said to be one of the fastest draws in the West. That is actually a quality associated with him. Not only was he good at drawing firearms, but also sometimes he drew knives. So, this could show up in an animation variety as well. Not just shots with guns, but also knife attacks for close combat. And very speedy draws. Maybe even, knife fights. I believe quick draw is just a battery normally as well. Showdown B. Skill of Wild West gunfighters known for duels and showdowns. So this was actually a thing. While it's debatable how many fights Holiday actually got into, he is known to have gotten into what were probably a couple of duels at least. So allows you to nullify positive negative combat modifiers and cancel outside interference and engage the target purely on skill. Whoever's fastest and most accurate is, the big hit. So, this is I believe there's no other skill like this. So there's a few things we could do here. Probably like a self-debuff cleanse. If you want to be like fair to the other guy, maybe it removes the enemy's debuffs as well. The targeted enemies, so you have to use it in the appropriate order. If you want to be really crazy, this could be like target focus on self, target focus on enemy kind of a thing. Really lock you into the showdown. But it's probably just a self-debuff cleanse and some crit up. We're having a duel, a showdown, 10 paces and draw. Surgery D. Much like Jack the Ripper, Doc Holliday was a dentist who did occasionally perform emergency surgery. Knows a few things about anesthetics and stitching your blood in. And it's just a very funny skill to stick on servants who are not normally healers, just a low-level heal. But while you do not necessarily need to use it right away, Doc Holliday would absolutely have weak constitution. I think I went with B because that's the same rank Okita has, because Okita Soji also had tuberculosis. And so it's just a very, similar thing that I think would come up. So, get your crit absorb on. Probably be crit focused. Pretty typical for high-speed archers. So for Noble Phantasm, this did take a little bit of, engineering work from me, but I think it's an appropriate one. This is called Lupata for the Wolves, C+, and anti-personnel Noble Phantasm. So there are stories, again, not know how historically accurate it is favored, but it is said that Doc Holliday favored a coach gun, a sawed-off shotgun, as his preferred weapon, and there are, many things that go in there. The term lupara is what it is usually called in Italian, especially in Italian spaghetti westerns. That's something that I still don't know the exact history of, like, with film and cinema, but the Italians made a lot of Western movies. If you've ever heard of, Enrico Morricone, stuff like that. There's a lot of them out there. So lupara is the term for a sawed-off coach gun. So 10-gauge sawed-off shotgun, very deadly up close. He's got a quick draw. So firearms normally don't hurt servants too much, because this one is a Noble Phantasm powered by the myths of the Wild West. It, blasts enemies hard enough to knock them down and spray pellets in a wide area, wider than is physically possible, because, it's a Noble Phantasm. It's crystallized mystery. If you fire both barrels, it hits an entire street. Doc Holliday is a pale rider who comes forth to defeat his enemies, so his shots are like death itself. So it's pretty powerful, but the primary balancer here is, because it is a, not a literal shotgun, but it is the mythological ideal of a shotgun. It's very short-ranged, which is not normal for archers. He's much better at the get close and work fast kind of stuff. And it would be fed by mana, so while he does have to do the physical act of, breaking it open and reloading, those are created by magical energy, so total ammunition is not a problem, but firing it rapidly is. I would say probably a quick AoE and just, do, like, draw overhand shotgun, line up, maybe, throw some tumbleweeds and, like, some, Wild West sock sounds in there, and then blam, hit the whole street. Maybe you even conjure up an animation of a Wild West street in the background. FGO sometimes does this kind of funny stuff. So, it's probably just a, hard hitting. You could probably count a decent amount of hit counts in there, because, you're spraying multiple pellets. AoE NP hits a lot of guys. Does damage.
Yeah.
Again, not really sure what most NPs these days have additional buffs or debuffs. Not really sure what we'd go with here. You could give enemies crit down. You could give Doc Holliday crit up first. There's a few different things you can do, but just, they say he favored the sawed-off shotgun. There's a lot of, again, mythologizing of the sawed-off shotgun, and just shotguns in general in, like, Hollywood and fiction. Blasting guys across the room, filling an entire street. That's not actually how shotguns work. Though, having fired, 12 gauges for skeet shooting, if you don't have that nuzzled right up against your shoulder, you will feel like you've been kicked across the room. Brace appropriately. And also, don't watch how much you fire. You'll get bruises the next day. It's all about proper stance and everything. But that is your Huckleberry, Doc Holliday, the deputy dentist. And that brings us to an end of our normal Chaldea Free Talk time. We now enter the What's Up Zone. I really wanted to do the Twilight Zone theme, but one, I think it would be really annoying for me to like hum that into the microphone, and also is the Twilight Zone theme. It's their thing.
It's their thing. We can't take that thing. Also, I did learn this. Apparently, fucking UPS has a trademark on the color brown.
Oh, yeah, because of their, like, what can brown do for you? I think it's only in certain contexts, but yeah, they have a block up on brown as, like, a slogan, as, like, part of their brand identity.
It's so weird. Because I was checking my UPS order for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because they have made a label. Actually, I should double check it again. And I just saw, just at the corner of my eye, just their list of registered trademarks and all that stuff. And it's like, the color brown. I'm just like, what? Excuse me?
Yep.
Roll that back. Let's see here.
Sorry, I was briefly mind bamboozled because I wanted to double check on my order of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which Amazon has updated to arriving the Thursday it comes out. But it's still, too early for it to actually have shipped anywhere, so we'll see about that stuff. But I noticed that said under now arriving Thursday, it said previously expected April 12th, and I'm just like, you better not have expected that. There would have been some harsh words if that was true. That was probably just what it said before they had a proper release date scheduled. Yeah, color brown with a C. Wild. Anyway, it's What's Up. Do we want to start talking about Rebirth first, since we were kind of in there?
It's at the top of the list.
Yeah. So, the update to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo came out. What did they call it? I think they call it the New Age near Junon or something.
New Dawn near Junon or something like that. Yeah.
It has a very flowery name. It is the previously, I believe that like press outlets had described it as the Grasslands or Junon part of the demo, basically the Grasslands region outside of Junon. And so, unlike the Nibelheim segment, this is effectively an open world demo. It's not fully open world. There are a couple of very obvious spots where in the full game you would absolutely be able to go off the rails. Lucky and I both noticed this incredibly obvious chocobo wall that does not work. So I think that is blocked off, and there is an area to kind of like leave the Mithril Mines and go completely away from Junon, probably towards whatever Fort Condor is like, which they did actually do a little bit of setup for. Red did have a couple of lines to say where they see a big bird, and he's like, I've heard legends that there's, big condors in this area, nesting in an old Mako reactor on an island to the south. So it sounds like Fort Condor is on an island now, which is perfectly fine. Seems legit. But that's all blocked off. So it's a relatively small area of the world map, but it does let you experience open world exploration pretty good. You can ride on your chocobos. You can customize your chocobo a little. They got one of the little cosmetic sets you can unlock for him. You can repair some chocobo stops so you can do fast travel. And you can just generally do the kind of stuff you are probably doing in the open world. You can talk to Chadley and get access to special materia and do simulator battles. You can also talk to, the new member of Team Chadley, your a monster assistant, Mai, who will let you know about stuff and things. It's very cute.
Very cute.
But yeah, the demo, it's still pretty short. Like, I streamed both halves, and I think I got through both in about 4 hours. So they're not necessarily long demos. The Junon one, I think you can play for a little bit longer if you really want to get in there and make sure you're perfecting all your content.
Yeah.
But it's mostly a straightforward gap. The main thing is that you've got a lot more characters to try out. In Nibelheim, you could only play as Cloud and as Sephiroth. And now in Junon, you get access to the whole crew from Remake plus Red. And if you're curious about where Yuffie is, well, just, play the demo and find out. Or wait till the game. We got less than a week. But overall, you can get my more in-depth thoughts, I think, in the stream. But in general, the combat improvements that we saw already from the Nibelheim section are true for just the overall game. And pretty good. Plays really well. Thumbs up. So Red is, like, completely new. We didn't get a chance to actually play him last time. And they've done some very interesting things with him. Kind of, like, focusing on not, like... I mean, yes, focusing on perfect blocking, but, like, much more focused on guarding and actually, like, receiving hits. Mm-hmm. And then turning that into DPS later. So it'd be very interesting to see what kind of abilities and synergy commands you can get on him, and perhaps to hit him up with, some like provoke or other tanking type materia.
Yeah.
They also did some decent work, I think, to rework Aerith, which is appreciated. So she lost her, like triangle button little bomb attack command. And instead, that is just kind of what her fully charged attack does, but also fully charging her basic attack summons one of her fleeting familiars, which makes your spellcasting more powerful. And instead, her triangle ability is she has Black Mage ley lines. If you put down a ward, you can press triangle for her to teleport to that ward. This is actually pretty good because she's still got her Healing Wind basic limit break, so she can, heal in a large area centered on her, so you can, quickly relocate to allies. They look like they've changed up some of her effects. She still has her Arcane Ward in the demo, which lets you double cast offensive magic. But also she's got her Radiant Ward, which is a really big zone where she gets like super armor when casting spells. Like she gets invincibility and can't be stunned out of spells. And looks like it makes her basic attacks like a little more powerful. So, all in all, everybody's really good. Hell, there were commands I didn't even get a chance to try because the enemies still, they're not quite baby, but the basic enemies stagger very rapidly still in the demo. And the like elite mark type stuff, the special fiends, the unique enemies, those guys can be a little spicy, so it was really hard to like spare ATB to just be like, what the fuck does this button do? I was getting beat up by chimeras or giant birds. Definitely something that I'm going to enjoy having the free time to explore fully when the game comes out.
Yeah.
But like I didn't get a chance to touch Barrett's like special load command at all. But Barrett's back, he's pretty much the same. Tifa's back, she's pretty much the same. You get to try out the actual synergy abilities, which have some fairly unique buffs. When you activate synergy commands, you can either get infinite MP, you can raise your limit level, or if you use it on a staggered enemy, they can extend the amount of time they are staggered. So all really cool tactical shit. And all in all, seems fun. This is something, because you actually played the demo first, but something you called out to our games chat that I also really liked. We're doing some very fun things with materia.
Yeah.
So not only do we have, new basic abilities, it seems like your party members are getting elemental attacks as ATB attacks more often. Cloud has Firebolt Blade, which does lightning and fire damage. Tifa had a Whirlwind ability, which does wind damage, so that's really cool. But also, even in just this example first area, so possibly as early as when you start the actual open world part of the game, right? You can give Chadley some Chadley points and get combo materia that are, fire and ice, thunder and lightning. And they just contain the basic spells, but 2 of them. So you can really consolidate your materia.
They do have higher AP costs, though, so they will take longer to level.
Yes, but also we have that new blue materia, level up, which just automatically takes you up 1 level. So if you don't necessarily need like a magnify or something, you can, boost up your materia to get access to those levels faster. You have, as we said before, the autocast materia, which was findable in the Nibelheim demo, but is also in the Junon one. And that just lets your AI-controlled party members freely use whatever ability is attached to that, if it makes sense. Not sure exactly how they do it. You still can't set frequency Kingdom Hearts style, which is a little sad. We'll see if maybe the synergy upgrades and the friendship bonds you can get might give you other customization options, but the autocast just means that you can like have your healer freely cast Cure, or you can have them freely cast buffs without needing to micromanage everything. It's very nice. Yes, Lucky is just giving me the thumbnail with no new banners, and it's very funny, but we'll go with it. That's what the truth is. You've seen it already, obviously, listeners at home, but at least the CEs are neat.
I was doing some digging, looking for some stuff, and I just couldn't find it, so I was like, fuck it!
Yeah, listen, one of the CEs is possibly even Neato. Aha!
Sir.
But yeah, no, they're doing a lot of cool stuff with materia. Synergy is still back. You'll execute the command linked with it if your leader does anything. So lots of really good stuff in there.
Hey, Omega.
Yeah.
You can synergy Comet.
It's true, you can synergy Comet. That's an active materia.
I've done it. It's slightly hilarious.
Yeah. Does Comet stay centered on your active target?
I don't know. There's a lot of comets falling when I cast it. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so Comet's in both versions of the demo. It's a little out of your way in the Nibelheim version, but and literally just before the boss anyway, so you don't have much opportunity to use it. But it's just one of Red's default materia in the Junon demo, so got to play around with that a little. And That's spicy. That's because that's just AoE non-elemental magic damage. No sign of gravity or Demi or Quake yet. I hope they're in though. Especially because we've got some stuff in there to get in. I do think that they didn't, because it wasn't in the original 7 anyway, but it seems like they don't have any specific water elemental damage. It seems like enemies who are water themed are still doing ice damage, but that's fine. I'm just like we're adding a lot of materia stuff. I want to see some of the spice. But yeah, you can do spare change. You can throw money at people. Morph is back in. We've known it's back in, but you can actually test it out in the Junon demo. So there's like already seeing a lot of the bold stuff. I noticed this last time, but we can see a more complete picture. But there are a lot of staple Final Fantasy buffs in now. We mentioned Bravery and Faith last time, but also in the new demo you can get access to Protect and Shell. And these just temporarily raise your character's core stats. Bravery improves, physical attack. Faith improves magic attack. Protect improves physical defense. Shell improves magic defense. This is on top of, casting barriers and mana walls and stuff. So, you have a lot of flexibility. As usual, in the demo, you don't really have enough slots to play around with all the shit you get. Like, Cloud still got, the Buster Sword with just the 2 linked slots. And a little bit extra, Aerith's on her guard stick that doesn't even have linked slots. So, they're doing a good job, I think, of easing you into the system, but letting you know that, this is going to get pretty wild at higher levels. Can't wait. Oh, also important to mention, because we were curious about this last time, the summon slot is still in. It is still a dedicated slot for your weapon. It does still look like there's plenty of room for at least 8 materia slots, though. So, yeah, gonna have a lot of fun with that.
No, I'm excited. I'm just, like I said, the main thing I'm hoping for is I'm just hoping we have multiple links so we can, double up on certain effects.
Yes, I do really hope, because I think there were, they were rare, but there was, at least one piece of triple linked equipment in the original game. And even if there wasn't, even if I'm misremembering, I think we can still pull it off with more slots, because there's a lot of good blue materia. You've got Synergy and Autocast. You've got, your classic elementals. You've got Magnify. I would love to be able to autocast Magnify. I know that's really strong, but I really want to be able to cast AoE heals, just when needed, or string together multiple buffs, because the buff materia give you protection from the requisite debuff, for instance. Also, something I just noticed as a casual aside, but I think you can stack poison now. I cast Bio on a guy in Aerith's Arcane Ward, so he got double poisoned, and the icon actually changed. So I don't know if that meant that the poison debuff lasted longer or it got bigger, but that could be a very interesting thing, because poison was already usually pretty good in Remake, so being able to stack that could have some very good positive effects. All in all, just pretty good stuff. I will say, I alluded to it a little earlier, but the demo is not like baby mode. I do think basic enemies are still pretty easy to stagger and take out, but like I said, the special enemies, and especially the boss you fight at the end of the demo, those are real-ass fights. They are very clearly in a state similar to what they will be in the final game, and it is clear to me that this is not the first area of the game anymore. This is real shit.
No, if I'm understanding how this game is, I think we're going to have the fucking marshlands is probably going to be a zone, and that's going to probably end with fighting Midgar Salam. I don't think that's going to be optional anymore.
No, I doubt it will be optional, yeah. He's a big set piece everybody remembers. So yeah, you're going to fight the Midgard Zormer in the marshlands. There will probably be I'm pretty sure there is a boss fight in the Mithril Mines, I think against the Turks, from what the trailers showed, it looks like. Which I do approve of, because when you do the Mithril Mines in the base game, the Turks just come out and yell at you, and Elena says some stuff she shouldn't, and then they run off. So putting a fight there makes a little bit more sense,
Elena really does. If I remember that Elena just comes out and says yeah, I'm so cool, and you're just wait a minute, girl, who are you?
Yeah, and then she's like, what? You don't recognize me, Elena, the newest member of the Turks? I got hired in because my boss is having trouble. I'm the newest one, and then she's like, anyway, we don't have time to bother with you. We're hunting for Sephiroth. Cloud's like, Sephiroth's here? And she's like, I didn't say nothing. Bye. The Turks are really chatty, and I hope we get to keep that up throughout this game. But yeah, so the boss at under Junon is probably 3 or 4 bosses into the game. Not counting like Materia Keeper as the Nibelheim tutorial boss, you know? Also, again, assuming that flashback doesn't end with another boss fight, which I kind of hope it does, but am not certain. I just want to point out there are some very boxy boss arena type rooms in the Mount Nibel reactor. But yeah, so like they don't necessarily pull their punches with these guys. This is definitely like, yes, this was a demo for press and now for the general public to get used to the game's like actual mechanics, but also you're getting used to the actual mechanics. This is basically the real game at this point, and it's a little tough, but it's good, I think, to get that out there and actually show you what we're working with. And I think there's a lot of good stuff. It keeps the hype going.
It does. We are literally less than a week away.
Yep.
Oh.
As I mentioned earlier, reviews are out, and they are good. Probably, gonna stay settled at the over 90 mark. Like, almost all of them are positive. The general vibe I get is if there is a complaint, like if there is a negative drawback to this game, which you commented on this first, and I think I've seen more people echo it as well. It seems like the unifying like detriment reviewers have is just there's a lot of game. There's a lot of this game. Like both in terms of narrative and fights, but also in minigames, there's a lot to Rebirth. And obviously, if you're a reviewer, it is hard to cram all that down. One reviewer I listened to, had to settle on giving it a 4 out of 5 because, they really love the game, but they were really feeling the experience after trying to cram 70 hours in to clear it and do their review. And I assume that means they were probably, like, rushing at some points, right, to do it in 70 hours?
Yeah.
So, like, it is a game that is going to be dense. It is going to be, heavy to go through. And obviously, for some people, is going to be a detriment because there are so many fucking good games coming out. So many of them. We're still, P3 is under a month old. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is just under a month old. We've got, Unicorn Overlord around the corner. I definitely want to pick Lucky's brain about that demo in a second because I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Oh, yeah.
But, Dragon's Dogma and Rise of the Ronin are coming out the same day next month. Oh, also, hey, by the way, I just learned this. You will have AI companions in Rise of the Ronin that unlock new abilities as you make friends. You can switch characters in Rise of the Ronin. Also, it's going to have up to 4-player online co-op.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, it's a fucking buddy game as well. So, yeah, no, games are good. Good games. But, yeah, so that said, if you want to, like, clear Rebirth in a timely fashion and avoid spoilers, which I definitely do. Also, I mean, I'm laser hyped for this game, so I want to enjoy my experience as well. Don't want to necessarily rush myself. You're going to need to block out some time. Luckily, I think I haven't heard anything, like, no reviewers have really slipped the leash on, like, story stuff.
Nah, everyone's been pretty tight-lipped about that.
Yeah. I expect that much like the plot ghosts from the original remake game, Rebirth will probably have some either wholly new plot points or some way they reframe some old plot points, which are probably not going to be, like, universally beloved. I mean, you're adapting a game that is super iconic and its plot is very well known. You're going to have these troubles, right?
Yeah.
But I generally feel positively disposed to trust in the story writing as we go. And like I said, at least what the team has been saying, and especially what Nomura has been saying, and despite how much shit Tetsuya Nomura gets for stuff for games he doesn't even work on, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, Nomura is actually your grounding voice. He is known to have reined in the other producers and writers and prevented some of the crazier shit in both the original and the remake timeline. So he has been saying that the game is still going to like end up lining up to stuff like Advent Children, stuff like Dirge of Cerberus. We're still going to follow the core story beats. They're just going to leave room for slightly different things to happen. But yeah, it's I still suspect there'll be a couple of spices in there, but it's going to be a good time. As we have mentioned before, expect not to see us for a while. You'll get a very brief check-in next Friday in this show, and then we're outie.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, Lucky, anything you want to go off on about the Junon demo and Rebirth?
No, not particularly. I'm realizing I might play in the Junon demo some more just to practice. Because unfortunately, I sometimes get a little smooth brain in the action RPG, and I just want to mash the square button to slap things with my sword and not, fully use my my ATB bars. Because unfortunately, because of the way that Final Fantasy VII is designed, it is designed for you to basically it's not like a action RPG with just one character. It's an action RPG with several characters, and they want you to use all those characters. I think their combat philosophy design is they want you to wail on a guy for a little bit with one guy, build up his AT bars, use them, and then immediately switch to someone else, and do the same thing. And even their synergy abilities reflect on that, because they only build up as you use characters. So if you want to use them between two characters, you have to use both characters. And I am not the greatest at that, so it's like I'm a little about it, but I'll manage. Like I said, I think I'll put in some practice time on the Junon demo.
Yeah, and I'm sure by the time you get to the end of the playtime, you'll get in the flow of it.
Yeah, no, like, especially with adding synergy abilities, there's even more stuff to think about, because, like, holding, L1 brings up your quick access list, holding R1 lets you block, but then also brings up your synergy list, and then now you also have your synergy abilities underneath your fucking, items and other abilities.
The command menu gets pretty busy, because before you had, your normal abilities, spells, items, and then limit and summon would sometimes pop up. Well, now you've got your synergy abilities also all the time, and also can still get summon and limit pops. So, it can get pretty busy. Luckily, at least the stuff like limit or synergy and summon, glow bright colors when they're ready, Hey, look over here. So, yeah, but it is definitely going to get some use to. The synergy attacks, not the ones that use ATB, but the normal synergy commands, I guess. I at least like that those are kind of always available, and I believe it says they build ATB for both characters if they actually hit. So,
I did not see so.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. I believe the way they're pitched is synergy attacks, don't use ATB, and in fact build it. It might still be on mostly the primary character, but at least there's, some options. And they are all very fun. There is a lot of spectacle to this game. You feel good when you hit the fucking, wombo combo with Cloud and Red, and they just start fucking doing 6 spins. Or Cloud and Barrett do, the partners in pain, and just Barrett just shoots up guys while Cloud slashes them, and it, explosions everywhere. There's some fun stuff. I also think that your level 2 limit breaks hit harder now, because they're you don't just upgrade into them, you have to hit a synergy command to get the limit up buff. I had Barrett do Catastrophe for a big beam, and it cleaned house. It was a big area. So yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff. It definitely does seem like a game that's going to require practice and effort to get into, though. Like I said, they've fully added perfect blocking, for every character and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. It is kind of, it's not off to me, but it is kind of interesting that you're gonna, especially if you're jumping on this game as your starter, which you can absolutely do, because it'll have a recap and everything. Though they are selling, at least on PS5 right now, they are selling Remake and Rebirth as a bundle. But you're gonna start this game with 5 characters, one of whom is brand new, and then it'll still be several hours, but you're gonna unlock your 6th character before you finish that first continent. And then there's just one more new character in the game, in Kate Sith. And, damn. I can see why, though. They've done a lot of combat overhauls that they're not ready to, impart playable Cid and Vincent yet. Also, I don't know. They could be fucking with me. I'm pretty sure they said that Cid will not be playable for sure. But you never know. They could fucking drop him on us at the last minute. I don't think they will, because I feel like they would have demonstrated that. But it's hard to tell with these games sometimes.
Yeah.
That said, if Cid and Vincent are not playable, I'm super hyped for the 3rd game when they will be playable, because that will probably be really interesting. Hopefully we get some advice, from some Dragoon themed gameplay for Cid Highwind. If his basic ATB command is not high jump, riot. Also, he better be fucking throwing dynamite.
That was good. I'm about to say it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a limit break or a normal attack, but the dynamite better be there. I want to see it. But yeah, it's looking good. And once again, we're about to come out with Rebirth, a game that is sitting in the low 90s on Metacritic, great score to be, probably will be on this year's list of nominees for, Game of the Year, RPG of the Year, Soundtrack of the Year, that type of shit, right?
Right.
I'm super excited for this. But somehow they've managed to make me excited for the third game they haven't properly announced yet, too. Because I know that there's a whole nother act to this story, right? Like, a whole nother block, and I'm just like, oh, but there's so much shit we still haven't got to. Like, we're probably going to get the master command materias that contain, like, all your yellow commands, all your spells, etc. Because they're already doing this thing with, like, the double element. They could totally program that in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't advertised, like, enemy skills at all. What enemy skills are going to be in Rebirth for you to pick up? And what are fights with weapons going to be like in the third game? What are they going to do to let you fly the airship? Because, it looks like the buggy is going to be, like, fully controllable. I think even in the very last trailer they showed when you complete the Junon demo, there's a very brief snippet of the busted up Tiny Bronco segment.
Yeah, just scooting around.
Yeah, scooting around with no wings. So, like, there's quite a lot in there. Chocobo controlling feels pretty good and has even more elements than you think. Not only can you use them to sprint and, like, eventually, if you've got the right type, use them to climb walls, cross rivers, or even swim in the ocean. Which I was actually a little surprised is just a thing you can do, too. Like, I was able to run down to the coast on Junon and just hop in the water and swim over to a little island for some stuff. I hope that if you try to swim too far out offshore, they just give you a turnaround and it's not like Jak and Daxter where a horrible shark comes and eats you.
Oh, that shit gave me nightmares.
I think this is a mailbag question like a couple of weeks ago, but I remember there are a couple of big things that gave me big scares as a kid. The fucking lurker sharks in Jak and Daxter and the Bandogora cultists in Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Which the Bandogora cultists were just these guys in all black robes with glowing red eyes who would, like, come at you like wild animals, like jumping, leaping around, and they just beat your ass to death. They don't have special attacks. They just mob you and beat you up, and they were scary. When I was like 9 years old, those guys were freaky. But yeah, no. So, like, there's so much open-ended exploration, and there's still more. We haven't even seen Cloud hit rip a sick, 1080 snowboard flip. But before we
I'm sorry.
Sorry, what?
I'm just thinking about, man, Cloud's like really talented when you think about it. Fucking played the piano,
man, yeah.
Fucking snowboards, great at fighting, great at biking.
Yeah, the driving bikes and hitting people with a big sword is the stuff you would expect from a merc and an ex-soldier. The piano playing, world's greatest card game player, good at dancing, sick DDR skills, can do the skateboard. I think canonically in the games he is also the guy who drives the submarine because none of your other characters know how to do that either.
It's like, where are you pulling this out, Cloud?
Listen, I
I'm
had
excited.
5 years of downtime. No, yeah, it's gonna be great. But before we do get on out of here, because we're almost at an hour and a half, and we got a couple more video games to mention, and it is getting later in the day, and I would like to liberate some democracy. I do want to hear your thoughts on the Unicorn Overlord demo.
All right, so the Unicorn Overload demo is out. It is out for both the PS5 and Switch. The Switch came out actually a couple days earlier. We had to wait on the PS5 one, but it's fine. It's here. So I want to say, if you are thinking about Unicorn Overload, I would suggest getting this demo because it is a fun demo in that it's just the start of the game. It's just the game. You have a time limit, and there might be a mandatory cutoff because I completed a certain quest, and it's like, all right, we're done now. It's like, oh, okay. But they say you can just save your progress and carry it over to the full game. I'm like, ooh, that's important. So if you're thinking about getting Unicorn Overlord, but you're not entirely sure, give the demo a try, and if you like it, you can just continue your progress if you pick up the full game. But, so, Unicorn Overlord, a game being published by Atlas, developed by Vanillaware, of many, many games that are dear to our hearts. We're talking titles involving Grim Grimoire, Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, Muramasa the Demon Blade, and 13 Sentinels. All of which good games. Some gooder than others, but all good games. This time they decided to embrace their tactical gameplay a little bit more heavily in something that is much more akin to a combination of Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy 12, and depending on who you ask, a variety of other games. But we are definitely firmly in the strategy and tactics kind of gameplay, and it very much shows. So, first off, the visuals, we don't have to talk about this. It's Vanillaware. Everything is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. It's great. The scenery, great. Characters, great. Attacks, great. And story, well, the story seems very, I don't want to necessarily say cookie cutter right now, but it is very much the basic, hey, you're playing a fucking fantasy-based tactics game. You know what that means? That means you're probably some sort of dude from like a fallen kingdom or something. You have to go kick another kingdom's ass. And, you know, the plot points from A to B to there. You play, I don't know if it's Elaine or Alan. It's something. But, he is, you know, the last prince of a fucking fallen kingdom that got overthrown by treachery 10 years ago. And now he is going to overthrow tyranny and restore rightful rule to the crown. But to do that, he has to gather a hodgepodge of mercenaries and other people to help him with his liberation. And this is where we get a little interesting. There's a variety of units to use for him. Alan here is a lord, you know, just side eye to, you know, Fire Emblem here. And there's other units like the soldiers, which are spear carriers. We have actually what are they called? What are they called? They had a housecarls. That's what they are. Which are axe users. You have thieves. You have hunters who use bows. You have what is this guy called? You have gladiators, which are big hulking dudes. You have warriors, which are people who wear big hammers. You have witches. You have sorcerers. You have clerics. You have knights. You have paladins. You have wyvern warriors. Like you got a whole gambit, and everything's a little bit interesting. But where they actually like start to branch out into their own identity is something I really like. Is that everything's like based through an overworld, and you have to deploy units to overworld. But every unit you deploy is actually a squad of a minimum of like 2 to 6. Well, not. I guess you could deploy at 1, but that's really, really stupid. Don't do that. Of 1 to 6 characters in said squad, which can be made up of all this combinations of the units. So you could have. Actually, what is this? You can have a hoplite who is a guy who carries a big shield and will protect people up front to tank attacks. And then behind him, you can just stick, you know, archers and mages to fire things over his head into the enemy line. Or you can like have like a knight who is a cavalry-based unit who can move really fast, be your leader, because your leader dictates how fast a unit moves. And then you can throw some slower moving units like warriors or gladiators in the back so they can do big damage. And because it's on a 2x3 grid, certain units will be able to do certain attacks that can either attack rows or columns.
Ooh,
and
yes,
so
I like this. Squares,
yeah.
baby.
Yeah. So to do that. But even on top of that, so battles are completely I want to say automatic, but I think that's the word I want to use. Completely automatic. You don't actually push any buttons. All units have a 2 resource called their AP and their PP. AP is their action points. PP is their passive points. Action points is them doing an action. PP is them reacting to someone else's action. The battles will go through everyone's AP and PP until everyone's out, and then the battle's over, and you just tabulate results from then. And this is where things get fun, because while you don't have while classes each have their own like small little list of actions they can do, like they'll usually have a action and then they'll have a passive action they can do, and then they'll learn like maybe a couple more as they level up to like level 10 or so. They'll like maybe learn like 1 each more. You can then take those actions and then set the conditions for them activating and what precedence order they activate, like the Final Fantasy VII 12 Gambit system.
Yeah.
So, for example, Alan, a lord, he has a ability called, actually, what's it called here? I have the game open right now. Character list. Oh, Lean Edge. Lean Edge is just his basic attack, but when he hits someone with it, it heals him. I found a sword called the Rune Sword, which its special ability is Magic Edge, which is just a magic-based attack. Magic-based attacks are great against armored enemies. So I can set the Magic Edge to target specifically armored enemies, and if there is an armored enemy on the field, Alan, if that is at the top of the list, will use Magic Edge on that armored enemy. But if I was to set Lean Edge as my number one and then give it the tag like enemy under like 50% health, or Alan under like 50% health, because like I said, it's a hism, he will automatically use that attack first and then switch, it goes back and forth like that. There's precedence and stuff. And you get all the actually can I change it now? Can I change it now? Hang on here. Yeah, I can. So like, oh my god, like there's like so many conditions, like there's like categories here. And then there's conditions in the categories. Like there's formation and situation, combatant type, HP, AP, and AP, combatant status, attack type, unit size, own condition, own HP, own APP, enemy's presence, high stats, low stats. And each of those has like, how many is in here? Like 12 or more just in there as well. So no, you can get very specific on how these attacks track. And it's just like, yes. It's like, it's so in-depth. It's so in-depth, but you don't have to like work super hard. You can just set everything and let it go. Like I don't think I can like necessarily fully explain like how intricate and well-designed this combat system is.
Yeah,
because
it sounds like something it's hard to describe, but if you see it, you'd be like, oh, look at all the stuff you can do.
Yeah, and that's just not the thing. That's just when you do combat between two squads, because like I said, they run around. You have something called Valor Points, which you get from like, taking command posts and defeating other enemies, that where just units just have special abilities they can use on the overworld. Like you can do sorry, I am trying to think here. You can do moves that like put down a slow effect for enemies so they can't run through it quickly. You can put like dots in areas. You can destroy things like palisades and traps. You can do just like arrow range from like runs, and it's just like, so you have like this like another layer on top of it of just like it's so good. But no, there's no way I can accurately describe this without like
luckily you don't have to, because like you said, demo available now on Switch and PS5 and also PS4, I think.
Yes, I think it's on PS4. It's just I was just remembering that the PS4 is digital only, and I have bought the fucking physical collection because I am in for it. I have like every like fucking Vanillaware game that was released in America. I think I'm missing 2 because guess what? Those were released only in fucking Japan.
Yes.
I am dedicated. Something else, actually, I have to say I'm not entirely a fan of. They use the Fire Emblem style of leveling, which stats seem randomized, but they will tell you at least what everyone's rating and said stat are. It goes from like actually, can I stats? Here we go. Yeah, because we got health, phys attack, phys defense, magic attack, magic defense, accuracy, evasion, crit rate, guard rate, and initiative. And it looks like it goes from like, I don't know, like, let me see here, E, F. Jeez, we all go all the way down to F. Fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say E or F is probably the lowest.
Yeah, it goes all the way down from F all the way to fucking S and rates. So, the higher it is, the more likely you are to get points in that. And something I do find, oh god, the fucking witch hip wiggle. It's so hypnotic. Sorry, I'm looking at one of the characters, right? Huh?
I said Vanillaware, also a yawn. Sorry, but yeah, Vanillaware games. Yeah, no,
Omega, when you meet fucking Yana, you'll see what I mean.
Oh, I'm sure I already know what you mean. I played all of Grim Grimoire once more on stream once.
But something I like about this, because you can while you do get a lot of like NPC units, named units with like their story stuff, you can get mercenary units as well. And they actually have something what I find interesting is they have growth types. You can basically get a mercenary, inside them 2 growth types, and that will help determine what their future stats will be. Like, you can go with like all-rounder, which is just, the generic build, or you can go with something like precise, which is a focus on accuracy, lucky, which is a focus on like evasion, defensive, a focus on, on defense and whatnot, and all that stuff. And you can assign 2 of those values to your mercenaries, so you can kind of get people to go more where you want them to go instead of being completely reliant on what may happen. So I like that at the very least. And
Fire Emblem has definitely like warred back and forth with the randomized level ups. I would assume that there's probably, because I know there's stuff like, cooking meals and hanging out, like bonding with characters. There are probably ways to raise your potentials in stats or futz with them.
I'm not entirely sure, but there is a rapport system. Basically, if people hang out in a squad, they become close together, and if certain people get close, they sometimes have conversations. That's also what the tavern is for. You can just grab a bunch of people and make them have a meal together, and they get a bunch of rapport that way. There's a lot of units I have discovered, and I don't know if there's any sort of like. I think there's. I don't remember specifically off the top of my head, but I think there's some sort of like promotion mechanic in here. So
I don't know what the level cap is, having not played the demo yet, but I'm judging by like how much of a mix up of like Fire Emblem this sounds like, but with maybe a little more, Final Fantasy and some of the other Vanillaware type games, like aesthetics it has. There's probably some kind of like advanced class or promote or something, just to keep everybody, stacking up. But yeah, many collections. But yeah, it seems cool. I will definitely have to play the demo this weekend.
Oh yes, please do.
Because like I said, it's coming out March 8th. It's a week after Final Fantasy VII, so I do not know if I want to swing immediately into like buying it right away, because I am not going to be playing it right away. At least I assume so. I hope that I'm not done with Rebirth in 1 week. I don't know what I would have done to have accomplished that, but it is definitely on my list of games to pick up in March. But if you can indeed just save your demo progress right away and then roll into the full game, that'll be a great way to like test it out now and then carry on when the time comes. Which obviously, like, we've mentioned before when it's come up, designing demos can be tough. Whether it's, size-based, the 7 Rebirth demo is huge. It's like 50 gigs. And so on and so forth, finding a way to, like, discreetly take sections of your game out. But I feel like there have been a couple of really cool demos that have been released, lately, that are doing very well and are actually like kind of key to the game's successes. So I'm glad to see more games finding the time and money to actually put out some demos ahead of time that let you even keep some of your progress and are really good. 16 had a really good demo. Both 7 remake type games have had a really good demo. Sounds like the Unicorn Overlord demo is pretty good. Skull and Bones did not have a good early access period, but that's because that game is cursed. So yeah, sounds rad. Again, check out demos and, trailers if you want to. I definitely wasn't, like, lickety-split on the demo because I know that, like we said, it was a timed release on Switch first, because the demo came out during the partner showcase Nintendo had, but they did put it out on the PS5 zone later, so yeah. You should be able to pick it up wherever you prefer to play games. Any other, stray thoughts about Unicorn Overlord?
Nah, really.
All right. Then speaking of the partner showcase, we can blitz through some of that news really quick and then scoodle out of here. I would love to wax poetic about Helldivers 2 and Defending Super Earth, but waxing poetic about it is not playing Helldivers 2 and Defending Super Earth, so I might, put that off a little. It's a great time. Honestly, the game is so popular and so many people are looking at it, we should probably try and stream it sometime, but I would want to wait to make sure it's really stable first. They've raised the player cap a lot, and they've implemented an AFK timeout now, so you can't just log in and then go to sleep and wake up to play more Helldivers, which people were allegedly doing because the servers were so packed. But there are still occasional issues with connectivity and matchmaking and stuff. You can still get, like, completely fucking yeeted out of reality, right?
Last night, I fell out of the ship.
Yes, there are a few graphical or texture bugs that sometimes happen. They're rare, but like you can get absolutely domed. And I will say that just a couple of like unrelated complaints. There are a couple of minor things that like I do hope we can improve the UI a little bit as time goes on, because like there's no way when you're alone or when you're the squad leader to like quit to main menu. So if shit is borked, you just have to straight up close the game and reopen it. There's no way to, like, force a reload on your end. And sometimes you're just frozen. So, like, there's a few things like that. There's some weird interactions with, like, the world map where, like, if you start zooming out, you have to zoom all the way out to just let go of the fucking table. But mostly it's a very positive experience. It's very fun and very organic. And it looks great. Like, the planet variety and all the visual fidelity. Sometimes it's a little too much visual fidelity. Fucking God Rays Over Fog is, like, crazy. But, you know, it's all part of the
It's like, we're
experience.
blind! The bugs, they come out of the light like they're fucking Jesus!
Yeah.
Ah!
But it's pretty great. Like I said, I think there's some questions about, like, overall, like, long-term balance and stuff. But we're playing it a fuckload. And, like, currently at the, like, first release, the initial release of the game, you stop unlocking new shit to purchase, like, new abilities and stuff at, like, level 20. Lucky's, like, level 17. I'm, like, level 16. You know, Loth is, like, level 26.
I've been playing this fucking game a lot.
Yeah. Like, you know, even Aaron, who is doomed by work, is, like, level 9, I think, last I checked. Something like that. Axe has played with us only, like, twice, and he's, you know, 6 or 7. So, like, we're gonna burn through the amount of content you can unlock in the base game pretty fast. So even though it does kind of feel like enemies ramp up their difficulty very rapidly, we do really have a lot of tools we can access fairly quickly to get in there. And I'm very excited for future content updates as well. Because there's, you know, the possibility for, you know, the probability, in fact, that we will see the third faction from the original game, and we'll see vehicles. Because they've said that the vehicle update will be coming soon after release. Hopefully we can get the fucking server capacity and shit, like, all sorted, and the stability, like, all sorted out so they can get forward with rolling out actual, like, content, because that's going to be sick. But so, to blitz the Nintendo partner news, because that's not just about Nintendo Switch, running through a couple of things. So, you know, the Unicorn Overlord demo came out that day, but also got put in a few more. We're getting a remaster of Epic Mickey Rebrushed is coming out. That's a fun one, because I know that was a game that, like, a lot of people were very interested in, but also, you know, was kind of, like, isolated back in the day, but it's getting a Switch remaster, so that should be pretty interesting to see. I don't think we got a time on that exactly yet. They're doing a re-release, a new version of SMT5. SMT5 Vengeance is coming out in June. Not only will this include new content for Switch, but also it'll be coming to other stuff. Previously, it was basically, it seems like a timed exclusive on Switch, and I don't know if, like, including a new, like, version title was how they got around any exclusivity with Nintendo, or just the time expired and they wanted to touch it up. But yeah, they're releasing, you know, SMT5 on everything, basically. They're releasing it on Switch for SMT5 Vengeance, but also PS5, Xbox, PlayStation 4, you know, and PC. So it's going to be available everywhere, which is good, because I heard that SMT5 ran poorly on Switch. It was a little chuggy. So I may actually end up picking that up sometime on PS5, because I kind of avoided it because I heard that it ran very poorly on Switch. Very important for me, and also adding to the hell that is games I want to play, but also are coming out soon. They announced a Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection coming out March 14th. So this is the old school, early 2000s era Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2 in a bundle. They will be re-released on PC, though you will get a slight, not a full, but a slight discount, a loyalty discount, they're calling it, if you already own them on Steam. Because I think at least BF2 is on Steam. I don't remember if the original BF Battlefront is on Steam, but so that'll include those two as a bundle, and also it's going to include all of the DLC stuff that was, like, only on the Xbox version, I think, back in the day. So, like, Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventress characters, bonus maps, maybe even, like, some other, like, new expansion type content, and just in general, it looks like it's going to be 64 player multiplayer everywhere. I don't think they've said for sure if there will be crossplay, but I hope there is also crossplay to fill out those, you know, big lobbies. So yeah, just in general, slightly unnecessary because there was a Steam port, but an appreciated, you know, re-release and remaster, collecting all this content up. And I'm absolutely down for this, because Star Wars Battlefront is a large part of my personality as an adult. I say many things about command posts and watching those wrist rockets, and they're just good games. I don't want to... Actually, no. I'll shit-talk the EA Battlefront a little bit. The Battlefront 1 that EA made was way too arcadey and way too limited. I think they didn't know what they were doing, and they were just like, DICE, quick, make a Battlefront game. which is funny because the original Battlefield games were clones of what Battlefront games were clones of what Battlefield was like in that time, right? But the new Battlefront that EA made by the Battlefield studios were not very much like Battlefield. Battlefront 2, while they had a awful monetization model that was rightly called out and EA got mega dunked on, including getting a phone call from the House of Mouse itself. The actual game was all right, and I think they had a lot of good options and updates. A lot of the new Battlefront 2's flaws were because Disney and Lucasfilm didn't know what the fuck they were doing with the story, right? The plot was limited because DICE couldn't actually look at the scripts for The Last Jedi ahead of time, possibly because they weren't finished, and we didn't know what we were doing, and so it was kind of lukewarm in a couple of areas, but the actual gameplay was okay. I know that's probably not ideal, but I personally would still have preferred a game that was literally just Battlefield with Star Wars, including with attachments and other weird shit. Go crazy. There's a lot to draw on, but the classic Battlefronts will be much appreciated, and we're gonna have some great fun there. Our personal chat was fucking nuclear because a new Gundam Breaker got announced. Gundam Breaker 4. I'm actually a little excited for that. I've said what kind of games I want out of Gundam, and people have been like, "Oh, you want Gundam Breaker?" And I'm like, "Well, they haven't released a game in 6 years, and now we're here. Ta-da!" So there it is. We solved it. We memed it into existence. Let's see, World of Goo, Fantasy Life, something about a crab, just some normal stuff. They added some interesting games to Switch Online. Everybody does unfortunately have to cry because they are gonna release Mother 3 on Switch Online only in Japan.
I feel like someone is actively saying, no, we're not taking Mother 3 over to fucking America.
I don't know why, because that would be such a moneymaker. I guess it's because at this time, they don't want to commit to translating and localizing the script. I don't actually know how Nintendo does these kinds of retro releases. I wonder if they just have all their shit, their software in a box on ready to run emulation, and they just plug it into every new version of their consoles, right? So if they just have the emulation port of Mother 3 with the Japanese script, they might not have an English script handy, so maybe they don't want to do the extra work. But like you said, it feels almost like a meme at this point, that we're not getting Mother 3, even though people fucking want Mother 3. There are some music sprite issues. I mean, hopefully Nintendo could sort that out. But I guess that still is work, right? If they have to change music or figure out stuff. Music samples? Yeah, so that would mean they have work. They would have to change the music or something. And in general, it just seems like when they do these kinds of emulation ports of old games, Nintendo tries to do as little work as possible. They know you will pay the money to just play the game as it existed on a Super Nintendo cart because you cannot afford a Super Nintendo cartridge. They are expensive. So I am hopeful that Nintendo understands that there is a customer base waiting and they can do a remaster or something of Mother 3, but we'll see if they do it. That's most of the big news. I mean, oh my god, that's in the future. That's going to be a wild Game Grumps Let's Play. They announced a new Endless Ocean game with up to 30-man multiplayer. That'll be very funny to see Dan and Aaron do in the future. But then the only other big video game thing to wrap really quickly is it finally happened. There is a trailer and a release date for Shadows of the Erd Tree, the Elden Ring, the DLC.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good trailer. I obviously am a much more casual Elden Ring enjoyer. I've played the game, but I don't have the time to play it super in depth right now with all these other games coming out. I do want to go back and take more cracks at it because it is generally I think it is one of the best games in this type they've made, and the changes they've made to make it open world are really refreshing. But also it is still a Soulsborne game, so it still has a lot of those fundamental block in stuff that are if not deal breakers are I gotta psych myself up to get in there. But the trailer looks pretty cool. They're saying they're adding 10, I think it was 10, might be more new weapon varieties, not just new weapons, but new weapon types. including all kinds of crazy shit you can see in the trailer, like automatic crossbows, throwing bombs, and also just literally kicking people in the face. Many people are excited about this. There's some interesting new characters, which obviously are making everybody like super agita about the lore. There's a tall boy with a snake and a spear, whose name is, I think, Messner the Impaler. So like, looks like a lot of stuff. Fair warning to everybody interested in this DLC. They said that it will be akin to late game difficulty or a Millennia difficulty. So the DLC is definitely probably supposed to be post game content. You are supposed to have either beaten the game or be close to beating it if there's like a new ending unlocked by doing the DLC or something. So like, be ready. Also, well, I should also warn you. Unfortunately, there will be a poison swamp in it. Miyazaki said in an interview that he looked deep within himself and he just said he just can't quit poison swamps. The children yearn for poison swamps. So there's at least one of them in there. But also very interesting. This is going to be, I believe, a $39.99 DLC. Basically taking this game to a full $100. Generally, people are not upset by this. I feel like generally for the dyed-in-the-wool like Soulsborne fan base, and even some of the newer players brought on by Elden Ring, their reaction is not, "Oh man, that's a lot of money for a DLC." They're like, "Oh man, how much content is in this DLC that they're charging $40 for it?" Right? So, a fair assessment. I'm like I said, I'm not gonna be down to clown with that DLC right away because I haven't even beaten the game once, but it's cool to see coming out, and it's blocking in for our June release. I know some Final Fantasy XIV players are like, "Oh no, but what about Dawn Trail?" I don't think we have to worry about that too much. I think you'll have like maybe a month to get into Shadows of the Erdtree before Dawn Trail actually comes out. I feel like if a June release date was viable, we would have gotten it already. Maybe not, but we'll see. I do believe that Yoshi P is going to be at PAX East soon.
I know they're going to PAX East. I don't know who this is showing up though.
I'm reasonably certain that they said that Yoshida's going to be at the PAX East panels. Let's see. This is Fanbyte. When was this dated? Yeah, this was published recently, I think. Is this the correct one? Yes, this was today at 11 a.m. from the Final Fantasy XIV website. So, following the Fan Festival, Final Fantasy XIV is headed to PAX East. Dawn Trail. So yes, join producer and director Naoki Yoshida as he looks back at Final Fantasy XIV's past 10 years and what we can look forward in Dawn Trail. So we might be getting a release date then, because that panel will be late March. We could get it sooner, but we'll see. It will be streamed. Also, they're going to have a Final Fantasy 16 DLC panel as well for the Rising Tide DLC. Which will have Naoki Yoshida on it, which is going to be great, by the way. I've already seen the memes that he's going to... basically, Yoshi P is going to leave the Final Fantasy XIV panel and be like, all right, see you guys next time, and then he's going to go to the 16 panel and be like, hello, Final Fantasy 16 producer Naoki Yoshida here. I hope he has like a t-shirt he can switch between the two panels.
That'd be hilarious.
Because they are both... Oh, no. So it's the 16 panel first. The 16 is Friday the 22nd. And the 14 panel is Saturday the 23rd. But yeah, so that'll be funny. He's gonna clear one, next day do another. But yeah, so we got some more news there. If the release date is ready, I hope it will be ready because that's still a month. That's literally a month away. But if the release date is ready, I suspect it will be at PAX East at the latest if they haven't already squeaked it out. But yeah, lots of good stuff in video games coming. We're gonna have a fun month coming up, and I think that's everything in the can though. So we can get on out of here, and I can slap this edit together, hopefully, and maybe liberate some Super Earth. Everybody all right with that?
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's do the outro. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This has been Let's Talk FGO. Even if a bulk of that, about over an hour-ish of that was the What's Up part, the video game part. But there was still plenty of FGO in there. So, as usual, the outro stuff is, be sure to like this video on YouTube if you liked it. Leave a comment down below if you got any comments. Hit us up with anything, any old thing. You can also join our Discord, link in the description on the channel page. Make sure to sub if you haven't already to keep getting videos and streams. Sorry, I just burp in the middle of that outro. Also, make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you always know when we're posting videos or when we stream. And like I said, if you set that to notifications all, you should also know when the mailbag drops. Also, you can get an announcement on our Discord. We have an announcement channel for those kinds of things as well. If you haven't, you can also join our channel memberships for access to membership badges and emotes, which are fun. And consider supporting us on Patreon to get access to this episode in audio format early for as little as $1 a month or approximately $10 a year. And many other fun things at higher levels. And we'll see you guys next time for probably a White Day announcement, possibly even a first day if it does start, right away on that first. And maybe we'll have some more news out of JP as well. So with that, good night and sweet liberty to all.